e-commerce than e-commerce. You're listening to E-Commerce All-Stars with Josh Marsden.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to E-Commerce All-Stars. I've got another incredible episode for you. I've got Lori Taylor here in front of me, and Lori is the $4 billion woman, and she'll tell you a little bit more about that here in a sec. Now, she is also known as a top social influencer according to Forbes. She's the owner of TruPet, which is recently ranked number 39 of the 500 fastest growing companies according to the Inc. 500. And her background, which I really appreciate because I consider myself a direct response marketer as well, is direct response marketing and copy in direct mail. So she's been doing this for a very long time. She's very experienced, very seasoned, and she's definitely, one of the best out there. And that's why she's on E-Commerce All-Stars. So welcome to the show.
So glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm looking forward to creating some magic.
Yes, always. I've heard that all you do is create magic. Everything you do is always magic.
That's what they say. That's among some of the things that they say.
I heard you're like a magician, when it comes to business.
I am. Sometimes you have to be. I'm a magician the way I work my numbers from my investors.
Nice. Love it. I got to hear. So the $4 billion woman, I know that that's something that, people have known you for and have, basically used to describe you. So where does that come from?
Yeah, so my background is, before I was an entrepreneur, I worked in corporate America for 18 years. And I worked for a company called R.R. Donnelley, which is a $12 billion printing company. I was in a special division called the Direct Marketing Services Division. And I primarily focused on direct mail. And that included the strategy, integration with all the other methods and mediums that they were doing for marketing. And one of my clients is disabled American veterans. And, it was an account that the client, we've been trying to get for 30 years, literally, our company. And went in there and just hit it off. I had a bunch of crazy ideas, none of them which are executable. I know that now, but I didn't know it then. And what was super cool is the guy that was running it, his name's Max Hart. They still have a Direct Marketing Association award called the Max Hart Award, and he's still alive. So it's a huge shout out to who he be right now. He literally is the Sam Walton of the direct response industry. He has run the Disabled American Veterans for years. He's retired now. But with him together, I helped raise over $4 billion, $5 at a time for disabled American veterans, sending out direct mail and things like that. They're still a client of mine on my agency side, Rev Media Marketing, and they'll be a client of mine until they tell me they don't want to do business with me anymore. But as long as I keep making them money, I think we're good. Yeah.
That's cool. And $5 at a time too. So I just, factor in how many times you had to do that to get to 4 billion. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's a lot of printing. It's a lot of mailing. I mean, they mail about 30 million pieces a year for acquisition. And then they have a 10 million donor, like a donor file of 10 million people, about 7 million are active. So it's definitely a big organization. It was great. When I started working with them, they were doing about $50 million a year, raising, a little over 30 million. And then we kind of got into 50 million. And then I had this crazy idea that took me 2.5 years to get them to do it, was to put gold foil on their address labels that they were sending out. No one else was doing it at the time. So when you get those address labels from any organization out there with gold foil, just know that Lori Taylor and Max Hart started that trend because it added about $50 a thousand to their costs, and which is over 30, 50 million pieces. So it was a significant expense for them. But we were getting and I won several Echo Awards for my work with National Echo Awards for the DMA through my work with DAV. But what was super cool is that we were able to, at one point, we were getting 7% return rate on our direct mail, which is insane. I mean, nobody gets 7%. So we were crushing it. And those were the days, That's
awesome. Yeah, I've never tested direct mail. I started back in early 2013. And so, I started when email marketing automation was like the thing, and it still is, but it's obviously kind of coming down a little bit with some other channels really, taking hold in the marketing world, as you probably know about. But yeah, that's really cool. I mean, that's super cool that you had so much success with direct mail, and you also made such a massive impact on disabled veterans. I'm a veteran myself, so I really do.
Thank you. Thank you for your service. Everyone should thank everyone for their service. It's such a sacrifice, and just something I don't think the average person really understands unless they've experienced or know someone or loved someone and gone through the whole process with them, especially nowadays when we're going back 4, 5, 6 times. I mean, that didn't happen back in the day. You're lucky to come back. And if you did, you didn't have to go back. And now you just keep trying to integrate back and forth. So it's definitely a part of my vision to help heal our veterans.
That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate that. And I really respect you, greatly for doing that, just because, there's a lot of people out there that need that.
For sure.
For sure. So how did you get into business? How did you get into entrepreneurship? I mean, you were 18 years, you said, in corporate. So that's a pretty big...
The thing I didn't say was I made my first 7 figures as a sales rep for R. Donnelley when I was 25 years old, and I never looked back. So I literally was a sales rep working, and they really, because they had set the comp plan up for people to sell maybe $500,000, and they didn't have a comp plan for someone to sell 20 million plus. And I'm just good at sales, and I got big results from my clients. Mm-hmm. And I focus on direct mail, and I focus on writing the copy, being that. So to my clients, even though I worked for a printing company, I showed up as an agency. Mm-hmm. And I competed against other agencies. So it was super competitive. I had to earn my business. I didn't have any long contracts. So I had to win by response rate, because that's how they did it. And so fast forward to 2008, that's everyone's like nemesis year, right? So 2008, when I was found I was pregnant with twins, super fun. That was my Nuva ring surprise. So I have 5 children now. 2 of them look alike, little boys. And during that process, a president came to me from R. Donnelley that I didn't even know very well, but I was very well respected for all the obvious reasons, the results. And he came to me and he said, well, I was told to protect 2 people and you're one of them. And I'm giving you a 6 months heads up that they are going to change your comp plan. And you're not going to like what that happens. And the result. And so I started thinking about what I was going to do. And I'd always been recruited by other companies, but I didn't want to do that. I loved R. Donnelley. They're the best. And I was like, I don't want to go work for someone else. And then that's when I kind of went to my dad and said, hey, I'd like to open up my agency. This is what it looks like. Could you loan me some starting cash to do it? Because I had a 2-year non-compete. So I wasn't going to be able to take my clients with me. And then I kind of worked out this Cinderella deal because my clients freaked out because I wrote all the copy and did everything. So especially DAV, and they went to R. Donnelley and they took a big stand and said, we're going to put all the business out for bid. We're not going to keep working just with R. Donnelley. If Lori can't be around, can't work with us. So R. Donnelley cut a really cool deal, and they let me be a broker for them. So I did spread up my agency, so I didn't take that pay cut. And then I bought all my printing from them and then continued. And in that, I'd met my husband, Steve, my second husband. Try not to brag. My second husband. And I met him, and he was really big in the tech space. So I got involved really hugely in Twitter before anyone was tweeting. I mean, that's how I got all the status, because I know all the Chris Bergen and Mari Smith. I can name drop a million names because the only people on Twitter were the people, the marketers. So we all were talking to each other for a long time. Even
Sure.
Rich Scoble is a good friend of mine. So it's just funny, like randomly how that happened. I'm going to get photo bombed. I'm going to get bombed here by my cat. You know that.
He wants to be part of the interview.
Yeah. Hello, Milo. But anyway, so what was cool is, and I freaked out. Like, I always felt like I was an entrepreneur because I was straight commission on R. Donnelley. They didn't pay me a salary.
Sure.
So I had to, it was the same as an entrepreneur at that point.
I get it. Like, I have a sales background. I get it.
Like, I start my business. I have to figure out phone systems, all these things. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, maybe I should have just gone and worked for that other company.
You're like, what did I get myself into?
Oh my gosh, so hard. Like, my hat's off to so many entrepreneurs, knowing I've done both sides. And I can tell you right now, as many people as want to leave corporate America, I'm telling you, it's so much easier there than it is to be an entrepreneur.
Oh yeah, I know. There's pluses and minuses to both sides, because I was in corporate too for quite some time, and it was sales management. So I can definitely relate a bit. And now I've been an entrepreneur for 5.5 years, and I mean, there's pluses and minuses. There's things you appreciate on both sides. I mean, there really is. I mean, with us being an entrepreneur, we obviously don't have really much of a ceiling. We can, schedule things around our own time. We can integrate our life with our work, things like that. But all the pressure, all the responsibility, it's all on us. And whereas, like, to get paid, to take care of your business, take care of your clients, take care of your team members. There's a lot of layers of responsibility and pressure there that people just don't get unless they've done it. Whereas with like corporate, you just need to hustle, do your job, and you'll make money in commission.
Right.
But
Show up, have a good attitude. And it's so funny. That's the biggest thing I tell people. Are like, what? It's mindset. Like tactics you can hire out, and you're like, well, I don't have any money. Okay. Then go do ClickFunnels. Like, you do not have to be rocket science. You do not have to have gone to college. None of it to be successful online. Mm-hmm. But that's not where people have to break down. It's the mental fitness. It's just the spiritual. And for me, people are like, oh my God, you're so lucky. I'm like, I pray a lot. I don't know if I'm lucky. I'm like constantly praying. Okay. And it's so much pressure because the only person you're screwing over is yourself when you're not working. So then you're trying to have your personal life, and the whole time you're like, oh my gosh, you have all this to do. And like, it just never ends. I mean, I got to the point where I would wake up in the morning, and before I had a single thought of even I need to go to the bathroom, it'd be like some big not done to do thing I had to do, like right in my face. Like, I swear I'd be like, oh, and I didn't even want to open my eyes because I knew once I did, like, all the things. And I'm like, ugh. And it was so weird. It just was not like that at corporate. And I was an ass kicker. Like, I worked really hard. I was a hustler. I was like,
I get it.
But like, you just had that corral, and you had the team, and you had people motivating you, and you had people that you were setting the bar for you and telling you when you were. And now it's like, you're right. The world is your oyster. So like, you can make the mistake of going so wide and getting so busy, and all of a sudden you can't keep up, and you're not keeping your promises, and then you don't know how to get out of it. It's just like I told people, I joke around, but it's not a joke. I want to write a book, and my book, you heard it here first, truly. It will be called Misery. Like, literally, the book is going to be called Misery, and it's going to be Tales from the Middle. It's like the middle, right? Because when you start your being entrepreneur, you're so excited. You get your equipment. Even if you get an office, maybe you have some capital, you get a couple employees, you go out and get a couple clients, right? It's all so exciting. And then all of a sudden you start grinding and going, and it doesn't go, it goes sideways and upside down and all the things. And you're like, oh my God. And then you're in the middle, and then like, it's like you're toiling. It's like pushing a rope up a hill. There's that moment where you're just like, oh, why did I ever do this? I suck. How am I going to grow? How am I going to keep it? How am I going to sustain it? All the crazy how. Left brain goes bananas. And I was like, Tales from the Middle. And then I'm going to write that book about all the things I've gone through. We're going to talk about today with TruDog /TruPet when I decided to launch this brand. And then I want it at the end where I don't know what's going to happen. I want to be like, and stay tuned for, next chapter where like I get the big investment I'm going after now and all the things, or I sell my company. And then it's going to be Misery Loves Company, right? Because that's going to be the second book. And so this has to be like, because that's what you really have to do. If you don't have your why, like everyone asks me, how do you do it? When you get crazy, I swear, you heard it here. Okay. You have to have a vision for it's not just your business when you're an entrepreneur, it's your life. So you have to have a vision for your life. And my vision for my life is Luca. So how could I always be creating love, unity, compassion, and authenticity? And if I'm doing all four of those things, then I'm rolling. But where I get in the breakdown is when I forget about my why, and I forget that I'm here to do that, to create emotional healing for everyone on this planet, to elevate the consciousness on this planet. And when I forget that, that's where I go into crazy town. How? Because then again, it's not about your soul, and it's not about your heart. It's about numbers. It's about profitability and all the things that, yes, they matter. But if you can stay in your why and you stay there, everything else is calmer. Even the bad stuff, you're like, yeah, but I'm doing it because of this, and it makes it worth it. So.
I love that message. Yeah, I agree. I'm not the best, practical applicator of that method. I do have my moments of stress for sure, but I like the way you said that. It really made me kind of think about staying in my why and staying in my passion and just really like clearing out all the other BS out about business and just focusing on that when I feel that stress.
And a lot of people that go their why, they're like, well, it's for my kids or that. No. It doesn't get to be, of course it's for your kids. Hello. Of course it's for your kids. You're a parent. We get it.
Right.
Like that's not going to keep you. That's just more stress because it's for your kids. But if you think about why I'm here as a human being and what's important to me and what are my morals, what are my values, what do I stand for? And you get in there, even in business, like I'm in a meeting and I'm getting all charged and irritated because, someone didn't do something and whatever didn't, and Facebook did, and blah. And I'm like, and then I'm like, wait a minute, where's the love, unity, compassion, authenticity? Find one of the four. Find one of the four to anchor yourself back in, out of reaction. I think it's a big thing. Yeah.
Don't react. A lot of people react.
Yeah. And you're in reaction. And then and really what it is you're just triggered. You're just triggered. And when you realize that no one has done anything wrong and that someone's just done A, B, C, or D, and you're reacting because you're triggered by it, then you get to go back into your why. And am I here to be triggered? Did I come down here to be triggered? Or did I come here to rise above my triggers, to focus on Luca, love, unity, compassion, authenticity? Like, that is the game of the game. And when you do that, you're able to shift. And the shift is the gifts in the shift.
Yep, that's awesome. So TruPet, super successful company. Great job with that company. What has been some of the strategies and tactics that has grown that company so fast?
I think the most important thing to do is I set out to build a brand, not to make money. I assumed if I built a brand, I'd make money, right? So I went out to set a brand out. And when doing that, again, I went with my why. And so my why for this company is to help dogs live longer and better. And what made TruDog successful, I believe, is that everybody else out there, my competitors, were all talking about the benefits of food and this and that. They weren't even talking about the benefits as much as the features almost. And not really going into the heart of the problem to the consumer and being heart to heart with them and saying, look, having a really strong brand voice. And I have a very strong brand voice around my product simply because, my dog my dog died of cancer and we had to remove his leg. And so I'm so clear that when I got my next Great Dane and got him on this protocol, he's now 10 years old. And that's not nothing to a Great Dane. That's a very old age for a Great Dane. Mm-hmm. And he's that age because of the food we fed him. So I'm so passionate about what I do to the point of, I don't even care if you buy it from me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I legit don't care if you don't buy it from me. I just want you to know the truth. And I've taken it on from that aspect. And I really think emotionally we've created this brand. And then structurally, we have created a really it's very traditional. See, the thing about people is that they get the recipe from Russell Brunson, example, for funnels, but then they don't really do it. Like, they do random things, or they think they can shortcut it, and they go talk to the 2 Comma Club person, and they don't talk about that person, about what it took to get there. So everyone's trying to it's almost like people are trying to helicopter to the top of the mountain instead of work up the mountain. We just put the work. We did the work. We did the video. I wrote the video sales letter. I put the funnel together. I had the email set up, like, completely. Ryan Dice, Perry Belcher and Roland are my biggest influencers from digital marketer, because when I started my company, I knew I needed training. I knew I needed a network, and I went to traffic and conversion, and it was super small. It was back in 2009, teeny.
Nice.
and joined War Room. I was the first woman in War Room. They said I was going to be the last. It was kind of a joke, but and I joined War Room and just did what they told me to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, they're great guys to be around, smart guys. That's why I invested in them too when I became a certified partner back in late 2014. So, I mean, yeah, they're great guys.
You're listening to E-Commerce All-Stars. We'll be right back after this message.
E-Commerce All-Stars.
Do you want the best results possible for your business using Facebook advertising? By listening to this show, you know the impact that listening to some of the best and brightest in e-commerce can have for your business. Right now, you can do the same for your Facebook advertising in Josh's powerful new book. In this book, some of the best Facebook advertisers for e-commerce that have collectively spent millions on advertising have revealed their powerful strategies and tips for getting the most out of every dollar spent on Facebook ads. Every contributor has also given their wisdom on how your business can stay ahead of the trends happening right now, so you can win into 2019 with Facebook ads without risking advertising dollars. Molly Pittman, J. Trevor Chapman, David Schloss, Sam Bell, Josh Marsden, and many more have truly given their best stuff in this book, Facebook Advertising Trends and Strategies for E-Commerce, the 2019 edition.
The best in e-commerce. E-Commerce All-Stars.
So you just really focus on the brand and, just getting a strong value-driven message out there and content out there on a consistent basis, it sounds like. That's something that a lot of e-commerce companies really struggle with. With my agency, I see that with some of our clients at times. And why do you think that's the case? Like, why do people overcomplicate it? I mean, instead of just focusing on not really worrying so much about getting people to buy from you and your brand. I mean, it's going to happen, but, why do people, why do they have such a hard time being able to like come up with like valuable content that's like married with like their mission with their e-commerce company?
Well, like, look, people, if you're going to choose to not buy at Amazon and you're going to choose to not buy from a big retailer, this is what people are doing when they choose to buy from me. If they buy from you, they're choosing not to buy from a bigger company, right?
Right.
They're choosing because it's somehow something you said has resonated with them. It's all about voice. And so, yes, obviously I had all my funnels up. Yes, we were media buying machines. And yeah, I have a head start because I'm a really great copywriter. I'm a really great hook writer. Like, why does my dog eat poop? Like, I just went out and Googled what the top questions were. People asked about their dogs and then built the answer around my product. Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, this will help your dog stop eating poop, and here's why. So I went from it from the consumer's perspective and then backed into it. I understood who my avatar was. And in this case, yes, my avatar is a 50-plus woman. Yes, that's what I'm talking to, of course. And the truth is, she is her dog. So we developed the avatars for a fat dog, a sick dog, for a puppy, and for, a dog that is having like allergies or something like that, having some types of issues with allergies, because we knew that's where people, when they went to go make a change, they either had a puppy, they had a senior dog, that's what I forgot, that's getting older, so a life change has happened. It's just like humans. Mm-hmm. A life change has happened, or their dog's got really fat and they don't know what to do about it, and they don't want to starve their dog, or their dog has allergies / cancer, some sort of illness, but there's some turning point. Because when you think about why someone's going to buy your product, if you just want to play the price game, you'll probably lose unless you have a ton of money and great distribution. So you've got to tap into their why, and you've got to give them a reason to buy from you. And for us, what the other piece of it for everyone listening that makes us better than our competitors, and when I say competitors, I'm talking even Chewy's, who I actually sell to a couple $1 million of, but it costs them to acquire a customer a lot more money than it costs me to acquire a customer. And the reason is because I'm a direct response marketer. And I'm smart enough to know that if you can do your analytics correctly and you can track it properly and you have a nurturing sequence that works, you can sell that first product really under your cost, because then you upsell them into it at your cost. And then come month 4, like for us, all of our customers get profitable month 4. So I can be super aggressive to get my customers because I'm not worried about it, because I know month 4. Most entrepreneurs do not know that. Most entrepreneurs look at their bank account and see if they have more bank than they have. They think because, oh my God, we did $250,000 in sales at Facebook. Did ya? Because if you paid $250,000, that's about a 1-for-1. Then you basically just traded dollars. And if you have cost of goods sold like I do, then you lost half of that, right?
Because they're not tracking their numbers.
They don't understand it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it takes a lot of knowledge when it comes to analytics, when it comes to, optimizing customer value, knowing when you break even, knowing your CPAs, knowing, your average order value, your lifetime value. You have to have your business basically broken down into a numbers-based system that you can like look at. So this way you can see, how you're exchanging dollars for customers and how you're profiting per customer.
And understand, most people don't have it, like they don't have a basic economics. Like I just invite anyone to just take an online college course or something on accounting, one accounting class and one economics class, because it's like there's some things that the digital marketers aren't going to teach you. Right. Because some of them don't even know it. They just get lucky, honestly. They just have digital products and the cost of goods isn't there. So as long as they make more than they spent, they're good. But if you're doing e-com, you have inventory. And you're trying to scale your business and you think it's going to happen, but you don't have enough contribution margin to throw off to know when you have to buy your inventory. When you go to buy your inventory, you're like, oh, I don't have enough cash to buy my inventory. And that's where a lot of people get stuck and they fall apart and they fail. Mm-hmm. But that's because they didn't know their business model wasn't working.
Yeah, contribution
I recommend
margin.
Called like Vinny Fisher's company, Fully Accountable. They're very affordable. And that's who we started with, just so we could have line of sight to all of that stuff.
Yeah. Just reminded me of my business courses in college when you said contribution margin.
Right? But the thing is we all should be talking about it,
Yeah,
right? Like,
absolutely.
I looked at mine just the other day. I'm like, okay, so if my gross margin is this, and then I have my paid media of this, and my cost of goods this, and then you add in sales and marketing and G&A, and right now people on the listening are like, what? Exactly. And that's why you might not be here next year, because you're blown away by what I'm saying right now. But it's called, just because it's easy to make the money doesn't mean it's not a business.
Yeah.
So every business has the same constraints. It's called gross margin, profit, losses, right?
Right. So is there anything you can recommend maybe to people that really need to focus more on, contribution margin and just numbers altogether?
I highly recommend, honestly, contacting Fully Accountable, Vinny. I really do. Okay. This is a commercial for Vinny. I don't get money, you call him. Although I love him and he's done so much for me. I just want to give, and I love other entrepreneurs, but they really do show you every day. It's a daily snapshot. They show you, it's depressing as hell. It is. I remember there's a point where I was like, I don't want to see it. Just send it to Anthony. I can't see that red number anymore because we didn't have the line of sight. And then, that's the number one thing I recommend to people to do. I think it's the most important thing, but I really, really encourage you. And if you have a pen and you're listening, and you write down and you really understand what are your gross margins, which means if you pay $1 for it and you sell it for $2, then there's your gross margin right there. Like that's where your gross you start for. So you have $1 to start with, but then you have to subtract out, what your cost of goods sold is. So how much does that widget cost you? Like what is it? And you have to factor that in, and then paid media, if that's what you're using, if that's what you're using, you have to have that percentage in there. Like you got to know it.
Totally. So what are some tactics right now that you've seen working really well in your business that maybe some other e-commerce owners watching or listening to this can take and apply to their own business to, be able to impact their bottom line in their businesses?
Well, what's really always worked for us, and in fact, we're actually swapping out of it a little bit, but what really worked for us is doing some sort of product. I call it a tripwire. It's not truly a tripwire, but some sort of way that someone could get a taste of your brand. So, any way that you could do to sell a free plus shipping, not do any forced continuity. We don't do that. You will kill your brand doing it, and you will get in trouble doing it, and your merchant account will hate you for it. So no, it's legit. We let you buy one for $1, charge you shipping and handling, and then, but we give you free shipping if you buy 3, and we give you a discount if you buy 6, and we do upsells. So what I tell everyone is to really focus on pricing. Because I think too many people are worried about the color of their button, the headline, the image that they use, and all those things definitely, affect conversion rate, as we know. But the reality is what really affects conversion rate, i.e. your bank account, is being able to get them to at least say yes to something from you. And then at time of sale, doing those upsells, whether you use Shopify and you use Zipify or you use CartHook or you're using ClickFunnels.
Yep.
I would never take $1 from someone and not have a way at time of sale to ask them to buy something else.
Totally. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I know e-commerce companies are kind of inconsistent when it comes to using upsells, whether it's on their website or through an actual funnel. And, what's your take on, website versus funnel? Because I know that there is kind of there's two different kind of groups of people that are behind both boats, basically, that are driving both using a website and using a funnel. Where do you stand in regards to that?
So what we do is we've separated our business, because it's what I know, into house, which is our subscribers, plus our repeat customers, and acquisition, brand new cold customer. Okay. We use funnels for acquisition. I think they get lost in your store. It just doesn't work. You end up spending a lot of money for a maybe. I highly recommend this app called Attribution.io. It's going to blow your mind. If anybody out there is sophisticated, doing any kind of marketing right now, Facebook's full of crap. They take credit for everything that happens, and you think you're getting a ROAS at Facebook and you're paying a premium. But when you see this app, it will show you they clicked on Facebook ad. You'll see that they went to a Google search. You'll see they went here. They opened an email. They went back to Google, and then they bought at your site. So it doesn't, Facebook isn't necessary because it started the conversation, but you're giving them way too much credit. Right. And what that means is you're not being aware of your presence. So what I'm saying is having your Facebook message, if that's where you're starting them from, make sure your Google message is aligned with that. Make sure your website's aligned with that, because you could be sending them to a funnel like we are. But if your website's completely a different feel, a different thing, than what your landing page is, that can be kind of some discomfort for a customer that would be like, what? Like when I saw them, I thought it was this. So what I tell people is knowing your attribution's key, and that attribution app's not that expensive. It's totally worth it. And then I have funnels on everything. So it just depends. So if you're going to my store and you want to just buy that item and you go to checkout on Shopify, then we'll upsell you there. Like we'll have like right there, the Shopify has an app that allows you to do that. If you just subscribe, then you're going to go into recharge, and recharge we use Cart Hook, and then it upsells you. But I never, ever, 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 ever let them come to my website and just buy one thing without asking them to buy something else, like ever. I'm not annoyed about it. I don't ask them 55 times because that's where you get screwed up. That's where the customer's like, oh my God, do not go over there. Holy hell. It's an awful place. But asking them one time for a really great thing to cross sell them, and paying attention to your data in Shopify so you can understand, like if your customers, like in my case, are buying food, what else are they buying? And like paying attention to what they're doing organically, and then kind of having a forcing function to say, oh, wow. So they somehow, from a trend perspective, keep going to buy this product. Okay, great. So let's start putting this. Let's make it easier for people to get to that product because it seems to be a natural ascension for them.
Yeah, for sure. Now, attribution, that software, are you familiar with Wicked Reports as well?
Yes. The difference is.
Yeah, I'd love to know that.
Let me see if I get this straight, because I'm in Ezra's mastermind too, and I talked to another guy about this. Wicked Reports doesn't give the attribution the same way that Attribution App does, and I'm dying to remember the difference. It has to do with because we went to Kissmetrics, and they didn't do it. They can't do the attribution across the multi-touch the way I just described. And Wicked Reports, I could do a follow-up and find out. My developer told me the difference because he did the demos. There is a difference. There's a difference, and I will tell you this. Wicked Reports, one difference is it's a lot harder to use. And this is what it is. Wicked Reports, you have to take their code and you have to be smart enough, like it's a Facebook pixel, to put it everywhere it needs to be. And if that code isn't everywhere it needs to be, like on every single thing that you do, you really don't get the read. Attribution App, it's totally different the way it does it. The way it pulls in, it's an artificial intelligence, and the way it pulls it in is completely different and more dummy proof. I mean, that's the best way I can say
that's
it.
Cool. No, I mean, that's a good explanation because Wicked Reports is pretty complex, and it's not for just anybody. It sounds like Attribution.io is just a better fit for the average, e-commerce business owner. So that's
almost
awesome.
Like Infusionsoft versus Klaviyo or something. Like Klaviyo for me is just so much easier to use than Infusionsoft. Even though I find Infusionsoft to be effective, it's just harder to train people on it, and there's a lot easier to make mistakes. So that I can't say enough about this Attribution App. Because we have people I won't say the name, but we had another company they're not bad people. They're just, they were telling me that their ROAS, return on ad spend, was something it wasn't. And when we had put it in with Attribution App and linked everything together, we're like, dude, you're getting 0.51 day 0. And you're telling me that you're getting 250% day 28. And this is where people lose money. But the reality is they're taking credit for email sales. They were taking credit for sales that had nothing to do with their platform. Yeah,
well, that's why it's so important to know your numbers, like we were talking about earlier, and have your numbers actually very, very, exact as well. And a software like Attribution.io sounds like that would solve, a lot of those issues people typically have when it comes to tracking like their e-commerce business.
Yes.
Yeah. So your background's in, direct response copy. So, this is, copy is something that a lot of e-commerce business owners struggle with if they haven't been, in business as long as you have, for example. So what are like some specific, like lessons maybe you can give fairly quickly that people can do to apply to their copy to get better copy that converts?
The biggest trick I could give you is to go to your Amazon listings and go look at your reviews and look at your competitors' reviews and figure out what customers are saying.
Totally.
And then so if you go in like our Boost Me, and let's say the reviews of people like, oh my gosh, my dog's not eating poop anymore, or oh my gosh, my dog's shedding less. Like I have, and it's true, the dog will shed less. It's like you see that and you start to see what they're talking about. Then do you think your headline should be about how it's raw protein and it's good for kibble? Or do you think it should be like, how would you like to have your dogs, shed less? Or how would you like to vacuum up half the hair on the carpet? Like going and just finding out and using the customer's words, against them, but for them is the number one way to help someone.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're either a copywriter or you're not. And I see too many people not willing to, to go to a college, go talk to a college, see if there's any marketing kids out there that are in copywriting or English that you could get super cheap to write some copy for you, to at least write some headlines. So, I mean, if you could just get like someone to give you, maybe you don't have $10,000 to have someone do the whole shemach or 20 grand or whatever, you could spend 50, 100, right? But having someone just write you some headlines, right? Hooks.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the hooks and the bullet points can get it done. Yes. Sure. If you put that against hooks, bullet points, and a full-blown Monte, like what I would do, I'm going to win.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not trying to necessarily beat me. You're just trying to win at point of sale. And that's the best thing I could do is go to Fiverr, have someone write you some headlines separately, right? Then have someone else write you some bullets separately. Like, you would be surprised what you can get. And even if it's sucky, you can tweak it. You're like, oh, I don't like that, but I like this. So that's what I tell people to do. I think that's a great hack.
Yeah, I mean, and headlines too are like, one of the easiest, tests you can do on a page too. I mean, just setting it up in an A, B, C, D, E type split test with like 5 headlines, for example. I mean, it's such an easy split test that also makes a big impact. It's one of those little hinges that swing big doors that I like to say, which I got from Ryan Levesque at some point. But
I like Scriptall. There's a service out there called Scriptall. It's like
I've heard of Scriptall. Yeah. Okay.
And you know what? I think it works great for some. If you don't have copy and that's what's in your cap and that's what's holding you back, were you going to win a prize? No. Will you get money in your bank account? Yes. Yes, you will.
And that's what matters. That's the bottom line, right? Okay, so I know we're getting close to the end here, so I want to go into our bonus round. It's kind of like a little fun bonus round here, and then we can wrap up and close out the episode. It's been awesome. Thank you again, Lori, for being on here. So with this bonus round, the key is you have to answer each question with only one word.
Damn it. Okay, I'm not going to be good at this game. Dang it. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. What caused your biggest e-com success to date?
Analytics.
Nice. What got you through your toughest moments as a business owner?
Spirituality.
Okay. How would you describe yourself?
Authentic.
Okay. And then how does 2019 look for you?
Limitless.
Awesome. Nice. You're not going to take one of those pills, those NZT pills?
I would if I could.
I know. It looks so awesome in the movie.
Yeah, I was like, I want that.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't want the after effects. I want the benefits. Well, Lori, this has been great. Thank you again for coming on the show. I would really love to tell the audience how they can follow up in the episode, follow you, maybe learn more about you, learn more from you, learn about your businesses, possibly even buy some of your products. How can someone follow up on this episode and find more about you?
So I'm on Facebook at Lori Raylene Taylor. So that's Raylene. So Lori Raylene Taylor. Everywhere else, I'm Lori, Lori R. Taylor. At Twitter, I'm not on there like I used to be. Instagram, my presence is dismal because I'm actually working so hard on TruDog. I'm not doing my social influence and stuff. And then those are good. That's the best way. I'm Lori at TruDog.com. Will always get to me. My website is TRUDOG.com. It truly is the best way to feed your dog. If you're listening and you want your dog to live longer and better, feed them freeze-dried raw or dehydrated raw. And if you must feed kibble, add our booster. Like there's just dogs, I'll end it with this. And most people don't know this. But your dog is 4 times more likely to die of breast cancer than you are, 8 times more likely to die of bone cancer than you are, and 35 times more likely to die of skin cancer than you are. And in my mind, that's on you. So I'm not about kibble shaming, but I am about ignorance shaming. And if you love your dog, like you say you love your dog, you get to go understand canine nutrition so you can do the best you can. And that's what I tell people.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm going to go to your website. I feel bad now. I've got a 12-year-old dog and, he's eating some sort of hard food he's been eating for years. It's EMs, for adults, IAMs, whatever. But yeah, I definitely want to check out your website because I need to take care of my dog. He's getting older. So you heard it. Go to TruDog.com, right?
Yeah, if you use VIP Taylor, it gets you 7%, maybe 30% off. I'm not sure, but it's VIP Taylor. Okay. So check it out and I'd love to help as many people as I can love their dogs longer than they thought possible.
Awesome. Well, Lori, this has been a great episode, great interview. Thank you so much for sharing so much wisdom, so much knowledge from your years of, business success. Thanks again for being on E-commerce All-Stars. And guys, go ahead and go to, TruDog.com and also look up Lori on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, follow her, learn from her. She's got tons of just massive business success behind her that you can learn a lot from so we can grow your e-commerce business. Thanks again for being on the show, Lori. I really appreciate it.
Thanks. It was great. I love being here.
Thank you for listening to E-commerce All-Stars. By learning from the best, you're saving yourself time, money, and pain from trying to figure it out all by yourself. You can save yourself time, wasted advertising dollars, and stress from your Facebook ads right now by claiming a copy of Facebook Advertising Trends and Strategies for E-commerce, the 2019 edition. You can generate more results than you've ever experienced with Facebook ads. You can adapt to the current trends happening right now that are affecting business owners from getting the best possible results on Facebook. And you can discover how to scale your Facebook advertising results. All of this is possible for your business by learning from 13 of the best Facebook advertising experts in the world by claiming your copy of Facebook Advertising Trends and Strategies for E-commerce, the 2019 edition. You're listening to E-commerce All-Stars.
E-commerce All-Stars.